You were never taught how money actually behaves. You were taught how to earn it, how to spend it, but not how it moves. Money moves by rules, quiet ones, the kind you only notice after they've already worked. They don't look like rules. They look like normal, like habits. But once you see them, they are everywhere. The silence rule. Nothing feels wrong. That's usually taken as a good sign. And most of the time, it isn't. Think about a smoke alarm. When it's quiet, you assume everything's fine. But silence isn't confirmation. It just means nothing has triggered it yet. And when it finally goes off, it's already serious. Money works the same way. For a long time, nothing feels urgent. No alerts, no panic. You're paying your bills. Your card isn't declining. You're paying subscriptions on time. Nothing breaks. So nothing feels wrong. But quietly, there's no spare room. No buffer. No flexibility. And then one thing changes. A bill goes up. Work slows down. Something unexpected lands. And suddenly, everything feels urgent. It didn't start today. It just stayed quiet long enough to feel safe. Silence isn't stability. That's why people who avoid money shocks don't wait for alarms. They keep a rough picture of what's going on so that nothing can sneak up quietly. Not because something's wrong, but because silence isn't information. Knowing what's happening early is how problems stay small. The momentum rule. I'll deal with it at some point. That doesn't sound careless. It assumes stopping is a decision, not a process. Think about pushing a shopping trolley. When it's barely moving, it's easy to stop. But once it's moving fast, stopping takes effort. Not because you're out of control, but because momentum exists. Money behaves the same way. Individual decisions don't feel heavy, but routines remove the pause. The effort isn't in just stopping once.
Nope.
It's in breaking the rhythm. That's why it shows up as habits. Like buying the battle pass every season. You bought it not because you thought logically about it, but because that's just what you do now. Or going out every Friday. It didn't start expensive, but it became routine. Or little things that wouldn't feel obvious on their own, but feel strange to stop. You didn't re-decide, you kept pace. You're not paying because it's amazing, you're paying because it's normal. Once money is moving, stopping feels heavier than continuing. That's why expensive habits don't feel dramatic. They feel familiar. The cost didn't suddenly appear, the rhythm did.
Oh my god.
The comparison rule. That's actually not that bad. This sentence sounds sensible, but it skips something important. You didn't judge the price, you judged the comparison. Think about choosing between two swimming pools. One is ice cold. The other is just cold. The second one feels like the better option. Not because it's warm, no, but because of what it's next to. Money works the same way. When a price stands on its own, you actually evaluate it. But when prices are grouped, your brain switches questions. You stop asking, is this expensive? You ask, which one's better? That's why menus do this. Small, £5. Large, £12. Quite a big price jump. But if you add something in the middle, which is an awful price in comparison, the large suddenly feels reasonable. Not because it's cheap, but because it's next to something worse. You didn't choose a price, you chose a comparison. You weren't being reckless, you weren't being impulsive. You just answered the question you were shown. Which one makes more sense? Money feels cheaper when it's compared, not priced. That's why some prices feel reasonable, until you stop comparing them. The cost didn't change, the reference point did. The friction rule. I'll just leave it for now. That sentence feels harmless.
What the dog doing?
It sounds like patience, but it usually means one thing. Stopping feels harder than continuing. Think about standing on an escalator. If you stand still, you keep moving. But walking against it takes effort. Not because it's impossible, but because the system is already moving. Money works the same way. Starting often feels light. Nothing pushes back. But stopping introduces friction.
Really?
Not cost, effort. That's why this shows up in places like phone contracts. You know you could change it, but it's calls, fees, admin. See, nothing's wrong enough to deal with it today. The money keeps moving because stopping asks for effort. You weren't reckless, you weren't careless. You just followed the path with less resistance. Cost hides where stopping is hardest. That's why expensive decisions rarely feel dramatic. They feel inconvenient to undo. The system didn't force you. It just made continuing easier than stopping.
Imposible.
The permission rule. I didn't really decide this. That sentence feels familiar, and it usually sounds harmless, but it's describing a rule most systems quietly rely on. Think about entering a building. If you have to unlock it, you pause. You're aware you're going in. But if the door's already open, you just walk right through. No decision, no friction. Money works the same way. When spending asks for permission,
Are you sure?
you think, do I really need this? When it doesn't ask, it just happens. Saved cards, subscriptions, direct debits, standing orders, anything set up once and left alone. The price goes up and nothing interrupts it. The money still leaves, but the decision already happened months ago. You didn't say yes, you just simply didn't say no and kept walking. The most expensive spending is the kind that no longer asks. That's why it never feels like a decision and why people look back confused, even though nothing forced them. The relief rule. At least that's sorted. That sentence feels reassuring, but most of the time, nothing actually changed.
They're the same picture.
Think about taking a painkiller. The pain fades, you feel better, but the injury didn't heal. It just stopped shouting. Money works the same way. When pressure disappears, your brain treats that as progress, even if nothing improved. An overdraft gets extended. A payment gets delayed. Instant relief, but no structural change. You didn't solve the problem, you solved the feeling, which is only temporary. Relief feels like progress, but it isn't. That's why money problems often return right after people think they've been fixed. Nothing went wrong, the pressure just stopped talking for a bit. The visibility rule. I know where my money goes. That sentence sounds reasonable, and yet the system rarely reflects that back to you. Think about cleaning your room. When the mess is visible, it feels stressful. So you tidy it, and the room looks clean, so it feels fine. But the mess didn't disappear. It's now just hidden. Money works the same way. When spending is visible, it feels real because you watched him physically take your money. When spending is hidden, it barely registers. Contactless, online orders, little taps, quick clicks, no handover. The balance still changes, but the feeling never lands. You weren't careless, you weren't confused, you just never saw it leave. Money only feels real when it's visible. Digital spending skips the handover. That's why some people mentally translate digital spending into physical terms. They are not checking affordability. They are checking whether it would feel the same in person. The reversibility rule. I can always change it later. That sentence feels responsible. It sounds like flexibility, but it quietly changes how risk is priced. Think about walking across a plank. If there's no safety net, you move carefully. But add a net underneath, you'll move faster. Not because the plank changed, but because the risk felt lower. Money decisions work the same way. When a decision feels final, people slow down. But when it feels reversible, they stop pricing the downside. Not consciously, automatically. That's why people agree to things like free trials, or buying something just to try it and return it if they don't like it, or parking where it'll only be a minute. In each case, you believe you can undo it. And because nothing bad happens immediately, the risk feels smaller than it is. You didn't ignore the risk, you discounted it because you thought you had time, but then you forgot about it. That's the part people miss. And that's how they get you. The belief that something is reversible changes how the brain prices risk. That's why regret usually shows up late, even when the decision felt fine at the time. The risk was always there, it just didn't feel real yet. The stability rule. I earn more now, but it feels worse. That sentence sounds wrong, and yet a lot of people recognize it. Because money doesn't just create comfort, it creates expectations. Think about wearing a seatbelt. It doesn't make you a better driver. It also doesn't slow you down. It just removes uncertainty. You're not calmer because nothing will happen. You're calmer because if it does, it's accounted for. Money works the same way. Stable income doesn't feel good because it's high. It feels good because you know what's coming. Unstable money doesn't feel stressful because it's low. It could be high and still feel stressful because you can't relax. No financial security. That's why people earning more sometimes feel tighter. They rely on bonuses, commission, side income that changes every month. The total might be fine, but the uncertainty isn't. Security is what makes money feel safe. That's why stability feels boring. But boring lets your brain rest. You're not calmer because you lowered ambition. You're calmer because uncertainty stopped shouting. The timing rule. I just need to get to payday. That sentence doesn't mean you're broke. It means something else is happening. The timing isn't working. Think about driving the same road. Same length, same destination. One day, you hit all green lights, and you barely notice the journey. Another day, every light is red.
Oh my God, bro.
The road didn't change, but the experience did. Nothing took longer. The stops were just in the wrong places. Money works the same way. You can earn enough overall and still feel stressed because money leaves before it arrives, just like hitting red lights before you've had a chance to move. Rent, bills, commitments all hitting together. The total isn't the problem, the order is. You're not panicking because you spent badly, you're counting days, not pounds. Money stress comes from timing, not just totals. The issue is most people can't fix this by rearranging dates. You usually can't change the order. Rent is still rent. Payday is still payday. What does change is what you squeeze in before it. That's why some people stop thinking, can I afford this? They ask something more revealing. When does this hit? Because the same amount feels completely different depending on when it lands.
Oh my God, bro.
The money didn't change, the pressure did. So these weren't habits, they were rules. They were shaping decisions before you noticed you were making them. That's why they felt normal. That's why they felt harmless. And that's why they worked. Money doesn't need drama. It just needs repetition. And once you understand the rules, you stop reacting and you start recognizing. That's the difference.